and welcome to Ed Talk. This is the show that gets into the topics that impact our local schools and students here in Nevada County. I'm Scott Lay, Nevada County Superintendent of Schools, and my guest today is Rick Jex, Director of Technology, everything technology in the county office. Rick, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Today what we're going to be talking about is what do the tech departments do? How did we get here with technology, and really the critical role technology plays, whether it's in business, whether it's in ed services, or whether it is just the students in the classroom. It's something that in my time in education in the past 32 plus years has gone from relative obscurity to we can't live without it. And so we're hoping to kind of look behind the scenes here at what takes place and what tech people, what you guys do in your team.
Okay.
So first with that, well, Rick, you have the NCSOS, Nevada County Superintendent of Schools, tech team. You've got a mighty team of 2 people, but it's growing, I know. What do you do for our county schools and students, kind of in a nutshell, and then we'll kind of delve into some more topics.
So what we do is we provide technology services to some of our contracts, or some of our LEAs and our charter school districts.
And LEAs are for us, LEAs, local education agency, but it just means our schools and districts and charters.
And our districts and charters, And so we provide various levels of technology services, from managing wireless infrastructure to managing Chromebooks in the classroom to helping schools like Union Hill with their online curriculum and supplementals.
Right. So we've got that. So it's support outside of our office to make sure they're up and running. And I know when a problem comes, they call Rick and his team and go out there, and we work to bring it up. But with us in our office, so let's look at our programs, Rick. And we run the Child Development Center. We run the program for moderate to severe students in the county. And we also run a program for expelled youth, as well as business services in our office, ed services. So with that, looking at that big picture, what do you do? Like right now, let's say perfect time. Back to school. Teachers are coming in. What do they want from you guys, you and your team? What are they looking for to start the year off?
Sure. So what we're doing right now is we're refreshing and updating everybody's devices and making sure that they're all ready for the new school year. We have a lot, because of our special ed population, we have a lot of one-to-one iPads, so individualized iPads for students to use to learn on with assistive technology devices for their learning disabilities. And so we outfit their iPads, make sure they're updated, make sure they have the new apps. Yeah, and we do the same for the teachers. We make sure that their laptops are ready for the new school year. For our business department, we make sure that they're ready to go to run payroll for everybody. And ed services, we also make sure that our homeless team is ready to go out there and help the students of the county. And
a big variety. I know, with us, we have roughly 150 employees. That's 150 devices, sometimes 2 per each employee if they have a desktop and a laptop, although I know we're getting away from that to have just 1 device, but those all need to be updated. And with our teachers, it's all kind of over the summer where it was a mad rush to collect them all, update them, get them back out. Our students as well, and like you said, the various types of technology that they have, and updating and make sure it's appropriate, working on that. So, kind of looking behind the scenes. I walk into the office, lights are on, I turn my computer on, it works great, but it's not that simple anymore, is it?
No, it's not. It's really not. And so it really requires to have a robust infrastructure in place. So you have switching and wireless infrastructure that goes in and those require maintenance, regular maintenance, and that you have to do in order to keep the systems up and running. And so we do that on a regular basis, on a weekly basis. We update all of our servers so that everybody can connect everything in the morning. We update our Wi-Fi systems as well. We make sure that those are in tip-top shape for everybody.
And going. And we also have to have backup systems.
And we have to have backup for disaster recovery.
So talk about, you have several redundancy protocols in place.
We do, yeah. So we have a disaster recovery plan, and basically what that planning consists of, because we're in wildfire country, a wildfire can come through at any moment and take us out. And so what we have is we have a backup system in place that backs up to the cloud. And so what that does is that backs up all of our servers and all of our data to Amazon Web Services. So that way, if we did have a disaster, whether it be a wildfire or something else, we can actually restore those files from the cloud into a new facility. Say Placer County is our go-to location for our disaster recovery, so we would be able to use a server over there to download all of our content and then get our business up and running.
And immediately operate.
And immediately operate, yeah.
And I think that was something that was exposed in those horrible Paradise fires with the number of schools that were burned down, weren't they?
Yes.
They didn't have that redundancy in place. They didn't have the systems. Rural schools probably didn't have budgets, didn't know it was truly needed. I mean, we always talk about some big disaster, but until that one really happened, you always thought, well, we'd have time to download, save, and it really came into play where they didn't have that, did they? When the schools burned,
They didn't, yeah.
there were no records.
They've lost a lot of data.
Yeah.
They've lost a lot of data.
Yeah, and so, when we talk to our audience here, it's not only student data from moving per grades, but then you look at 8th graders graduating to high school. That's critical for that.
Yep.
You look at the high school seniors going on to colleges. That can be a huge issue if their senior year, all their records are gone and they're applying to different universities, and the universities are like, hey, we've got no, you don't have anything.
Absolutely.
And then coming down to payroll.
Yeah.
People need to be paid, especially in a disaster.
Yes.
And all that. And so it's really good that, one of the first things Rick did when he came to our office was making sure that we had all those things in place and constantly updating them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember the other day you told me you came to my office and said, our first, our power went off and we were running on backup.
Yeah.
And I had no idea.
Yeah.
It was absolutely seamless. We
Yep.
just right into that.
Yeah, the whole county lost, all the schools in the county lost their internet connection. But we have a redundancy backup connection through a different pathway, and it automatically kicked in, and nobody knew the difference. We just got all the alerts, so we knew.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think it's kind of interesting. The sign of a good tech team. I think it's starting to become evident to me is when everything's going right, when there's nothing, there's no problems. It's not like it's just everything's smooth. Then everything. Yeah.
And that's how it should be.
The tech should be. Yeah.
That's how it should be.
But it's really behind the scenes. Just the amount of work you're doing, and I look on on a daily basis is kids coming into school. You've got online attendance that has to go smoothly. That comes into lunch counts.
Yes.
Everything. The teachers logging in.
Absolutely, and so making sure that you have a consistent wireless infrastructure that actually is able to support those uses is really critical.
Oh yeah, I'll bet that. And as we look into it, it's not cheap, is it?
No, it's not. And that's something that really we need to make sure that schools start putting together budgets for cybersecurity, start putting together budgets for disaster recovery, because there is no state or federal funding for these things yet. They're sort of working on them.
But we're required to do it.
But yeah.
But they don't give us any money.
They don't give us any money to do it.
Right.
So we have to we have to make sure that we're adding those to our budgets for schools, and it does cost quite a bit of money.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's critical nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with that, looking into how the tech department's changed. As I was saying at the beginning, when I came into this, starting my 33rd year in education here in Nevada County, technology was minor. I mean, I remember I was the new guy on campus, and so they assumed I would do tech. No background in technology. And we were getting computers that were donated to us, I believe, from Folsom Prison. They'd work there and refurbish and send them to us. And no coordination. It was all up to us to today. So talking about that, just those changes that you've seen in your career.
Yeah.
Coming in, so maybe we can speak a little to that.
Sure, absolutely. So we've seen, so technology in education has really changed in a transformative way. You used to have maybe a desktop or two computers in the classroom that the teachers would rotate, or maybe it was free time for the students if they finished their lesson.
Right.
But it wasn't integrated into the actual into the lesson, or wasn't integrated into the curriculum.
And one thing I can think of, Oregon Trail. I remember we all had Oregon Trail, and it was on the were they 3 1/4? What size were they? 5 1/4? What were those floppy disks?
5 1/4.
5 1/4 floppy disk. And I remember my first kids if they got done or free time, the reward was just as you said.
Right.
They would get to go play Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
Wasn't truly part of my curriculum.
No.
By a long shot.
Yeah, it was just a standalone for the students to do it on their free time. But now really what's happened is because of the new state standards that really integrate technology into the curriculum, whereas students actually have to use technology to decipher information, to research information, whereas before they were limited their research was limited based upon the text that they had in front of them or the resources that the teacher was bringing in maybe on the overhead projector. And now students basically are learning skills on how to do research all the way down as early as kindergarten. They're getting on the computer and they're following teacher prompts to do research and to figure out information, to gather information.
Yeah, it's so different now. And as you said, it's integrated into the curriculum. It is not a standalone. And I remember when we moved from those few computers in the back, and then the rage was tech labs.
Yes.
And we went to tech labs, didn't we?
We went to tech labs, and then we would so the teachers would then sometimes have a free moment where they would send the students over to computer lab for 40 minutes, and that was the teacher prep time.
1 to 2 times a week, maybe.
Yes, absolutely. And then the students were mostly learning keyboarding skills, which is a critical skill to learn. But now that's integrated into actual standards.
Right.
So keyboarding skills are integrated into standards today. And so the computer lab kind of went away in 2012 once schools started to buy Chromebooks. So Chromebooks came on the market and really changed the game for schools because it made computers affordable. Yeah. We're at a place where we can buy a computer for $150, $200 and provide that to a student, and that's their learning tool for 4 to 5 years. Yeah. And that's really what we've started to see over the last decade is this influx of technology going into the classroom and teachers transforming the way that they teach and engaging students in new ways.
Yeah, absolutely critical. Yeah, we went from the labs, then I remember mobile labs with the Chromebooks. Yeah. Because those were over there, again, you could plug them in, move them around, then realizing that they were never in the classroom when a teacher needed it. And so it wasn't part, but getting them in the Chromebooks that came in and utilizing those, and then, part of it. And then another huge skill we teach students is, information, how to look up information. What is actually reliable, true, how to source information, because there's so much misinformation out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then another thing you guys do with the filters that are behind the scenes, because parents do worry, because the World Wide Web is wide open to go anywhere you want.
It is, yeah.
You guys are always behind the scenes trying to, what we call the firewall, right?
Yeah, firewall,
to stop and trying to stay one step ahead of people with ill intent wanting students to accidentally or hit their website.
Right.
So that's constant work.
It is constant work. And so we have 2 layers. We have a firewall and an internet filter. And the internet filter is what filters out the content you don't want students to access. So the adult content, gambling stuff, drugs, alcohol, things of that nature. So we filter out those websites. So if a student tries to go to a website of that nature, it comes up with a block page and it doesn't allow them to go through. And the firewalls really are what's protecting our students' data. And it's really critical that schools install updated next generation firewalls rather than just a standard firewall, because the next generation firewalls are able to actually prevent some of the hacking that's taking place and actually alert the IT team that they're actually somebody's trying to penetrate and get in to decipher off that information.
Right, and I do want to talk about that in a few moments about the importance and that attacks that we've seen on so many of our institutions, governmental or educational. You and I were talking the other day about kind of, that the turning point in education, what really kind of transformed it, if you will. And Chromebook, certainly it was Google, wasn't it? With bringing Google in. And tell our viewers what you mean by that.
Yeah, so absolutely. So Google came on the market about a little over a decade ago with their Google Apps for Education that they now call Google Workspace. And really what it allows you to do is work on a document collaboratively. And so when we're looking at a classroom, say a 3rd grade classroom, we pull students together in a group. So you might have 4 students together in a group, and what they do is the assignment may be to work on a project. So this one person might be doing research, another person might be doing writing. And so they can both work on that document collaboratively in a collaborative setting and actually produce an assignment, basically a group assignment that they can turn in. And they can submit that through Google Classroom. And they submit their assignment through Google Classroom, and the teacher then can grade it online. Right. So it's really changed and transformed the way that teachers teach and the way that students are learning.
Yeah, I mean, you can get instant feedback from your teacher to multiple students in the class over whatever topic it is they're doing. With that, The other thing I noticed too is the big jump we took in Nevada County with the pandemic. When COVID-19 hit us, we mistakenly thought we were going to close for 3 weeks and the pandemic would magically go away. Well, lo and behold, that's not how pandemics work.
Yeah.
And so we know schools closed down. We knew right away we had to do something, and it was Chromebooks. And getting that technology out and money that was set aside by state and feds, we were able to really bolster our technology that we were able to offer the kids.
Absolutely. The distance learning made a huge impact. So, people talk about the learning loss that happened during COVID, but they don't really talk about is the learning that took place. And so there was actually learning that took place, and it was different than what we've ever done before, because it was all done on the computer through the Chromebook, through Zoom or Google Meet in some cases. And students were still learning, and teachers were still delivering content and teaching students through the pandemic.
Yeah, and even for the adults, I think if you'd come to me in 2019 and said, yeah, let's do a Zoom meeting, I'd have gone, what's a Zoom meeting?
Yeah.
Nobody was doing it. And Teams, another format to meet, that's not how we did business. And now it's part of our vocabulary.
Right.
We got our classes together, we had the different formats, we save time by this. Instead of driving for an hour to a meeting, you can all click into the Zoom or Teams or what have you, and there you are. And moving along, kids can do the same thing with student learning.
Yeah.
With that, we still, though, obviously in Nevada County, have the issue of the dead spots.
Yeah.
Areas where we don't have reliable internet.
Yeah.
Or simply you can't even, the hotspots don't work.
Right.
So that's something we're still working on. But yeah, since it was March of 2020.
Yeah.
Amazing strides in technology. So with that, let's jump on to cybersecurity.
Sure.
You touched upon the firewall. Cybersecurity is huge.
It is.
So talk to me about that.
Cyber schools are actually a target right now for bad actors.
And why? That's what sometimes people don't know. Why are we targets?
Sure. So we sit on troves and troves of data on our students, and they all have clean credit records, because they don't have any credit.
Right.
And so what happens is these bad actors, they will, what they'll do is they'll download the data now, they'll sell it on the dark web, somebody buys it, and they sit on it until the kid turns 18. And before the kid even has an opportunity to apply for credit, their credit's already ruined.
Wow.
Because they went and bought cars, and they run up credit cards and done all these things that they didn't do themselves.
Unsuspecting kids, yeah.
Yeah, and so we have a legal and moral obligation to protect that data. And so by putting in firewalls, next generation firewalls, and making sure that those are in place, and that we have data policies and protocols in place to prevent hacking from taking place internally and externally is critical.
Right, and I know even some local institutions have been hit. And they hold you ransom for millions.
Right, ransomware.
I mean, it's absolutely crazy what takes place. So another threat, that's out there. That behind the scenes, our tech people are keeping us all safe to make sure we're not on the news in the evening of another office hacked with that. So with that, I know we're running out of time here. We're getting close, but with that, Rick, any last pearls of wisdom or nuggets to share with our audience about tech?
So if you lack access to internet at home, check out everyoneon.org.
Everyoneon.org, okay.
It's provided by the federal government, and it basically will tell you what internet services are available at your location, if you have internet available at your location. But it's an aggregate of different services that are available.
Right.
So everyoneon.org.
Do that, great. And also, if you want to know about your school's technology, security plans, they're going to give you the nitty-gritty details because we don't want to give those secrets away. But to let you know what's going on, how we're protecting your students' data, employee data, social security numbers, all those, we want to make sure all that's safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's great. Well, Rick, thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving us kind of a peek behind the tech curtain of what takes place, why when I hit my power button on, I'm all hooked up and away I can go for the day.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate that. All right, and I appreciate all our viewers joining in. You've been listening to Ed Talk. Take care.